Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm super excited to be filming this video because this is the very first episode of my brand new series, Makeup and Tea Time. I told you guys I'd be posting like a story time every once a month, if that. But I figured why not turn this into a series? So there will be a brand new episode once every month, and that episode will always be on the first Sunday of every month. But anyways, today's episode is about being a teen mom at 15. This is very a true story, actually. This is from two kind of perspectives, mostly mine, because I don't know what my sister was going through, like what was going in her head and everything, obviously. But this is from my perspective, my side of things, and then my sister, we're gonna call her D, from D's side of things. So, before we get started, I just want to say my mirror's over here. So if I'm looking over here, it's because I'm seeing what I'm doing. Also, it's because where was I going with that? Anyway, I just want to say, no judgment, please. We all make mistakes. Things happen. I'm not saying my niece was a mistake. I love her. It's just getting pregnant at a very early age. The pregnancy was a mistake, but not my niece, if that makes sense. And my mom, my sister is a very good mom. She's always been there. She's never abandoned my niece. And yeah, she's been a good mom ever since she had her, ever since the start. So, without further ado, let's just get straight into today's story time. So this story pretty much took place ever since my second grade year. I was 7 at the time, and a little side note that I found very funny even at my very young age. So my sister, she would always be out with friends, normal teenage stuff. She would always be out with her friends. She pretty much had a social life. She was struggling, like I am. She was struggling, and she still made time for her friends. She'd sleep over there some nights. And the sleepover part, we didn't think anything about it. Until the one day, my mom heard, because my sister said that she was going to be sleeping at a friend named Savannah's house. Spoiler alert, there was no Savannah. She was going to see a guy. Yeah, she could have just told my mom that, but she was going to be sleeping over there, and the fact that she was lying was a little weird to my mom. So, what did my mom do? She drove around the block, and she saw this red car. And as soon as we passed it, I even saw it. And I was I was obviously sitting in the backseat because I was not old enough to sit up front at the time. But I saw my sister duck down. And we were, looking at each other, did you just see that? And I'm like, yeah, that was her. And I could tell for a fact it was her because I know my sister's face. I know what my sister looks like. I used to live with her. I mean, it's sad now that I don't, but, okay. I knew my sister's face, obviously. So, anyways, that was weird, but we didn't think anything of it. And then, eventually, it's the summer in between 1st and 2nd grade for me. And I remember the one day, I don't even know what the reasoning behind this necessarily was. I mean, with pregnancy, there's so many symptoms. I'm not even aware of all the symptoms because I'm only 15 years old myself. So, with that being said, I am in the living room and I hear my mom to my sister and she's like, D, you're going into this bathroom and you're going to take a test because I have suspicions. And if this test comes back positive, I don't know what we're going to do. But we got to figure something out. So, I'm like, so of course, me being 7 years old, I run into the room and I'm like, D is pregnant? And my mom's like, no, go back in the living room, do your own thing, please. So I remember that my mom wasn't really even in the bathroom for the whole time the test was taken. So my mom eventually walks back into the bathroom. Because with my pregnancy test, she was in the bathroom the whole time. Mine obviously came back negative. But, yeah, my sister, my mom's I heard my mom say, I don't know if she took the test wrong or what, because it's positive. And I had that feeling right there. 7-year-old me had that feeling that my sister took that test right. So I was like, Mom, she probably took it right. But of course, me being 7 years old, why would they listen to me? I don't know shit. Well, it turns out I was correct because it is November 24th, 2014, and my dad had this part-time job. And he would have to wake up at 5, get ready, go to work at 6, and he'd come home at 12. Because my mom also worked during the day, and someone needed to watch us kids when we got out of school. So my dad is up at 5 a.m. getting ready for work. And I am sleeping because usually I would not go for these car rides to take my dad to work because my mom would have my older sister Dee stay home with me to keep an eye on me so that we both don't have to go out I specifically don't have to go out, like, if it was cold out or just in general, just to wake both of us up. But she would always make Dee wake up, though, to watch me to make sure I didn't wake up, and if I did, that I wasn't doing anything I shouldn't be, or, like, if I didn't need anything. But anyway, so eventually, I don't know how this happened, but my sister comes waddling down the stairs, and she looks bloated as hell, and it wakes me up. And so I am woken up at this time, and she's like, I can't go to school today. Like, I think you guys need to take me to the hospital. I have really bad constipation. So I'm like, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, obviously 7-year-old me was worried. That was not what was going on at the time. Let me tell you guys, okay? So my dad calls his work and says, hey, listen, I gotta take my daughter to the hospital. I'm gonna be late. And they're like, okay, no problem. So we all get into the car, and it was like completely dark out. It was like 5:30 in the morning. And we head to the nearest hospital that my mom would always take us kids to when we needed it. By the time we got to the hospital, my sister could not even stand. Like, they had to get her from the car with a wheelchair. So she's wheeled in, and they give her a room immediately. While my mom has to, like, fill out, like, a little bit of paperwork. And so it's me, my mom, and my dad, and we're sitting in the waiting room. And they're like, hey, like, you guys can go up now. She has a room. And it's on one of the upper floors. So we walk all the way up we walk up a few flights of stairs because the elevators were down. And my mom did not like taking public elevators for some reason. I don't know. Like, maybe it's a fear that they'll shut down or something or, like, stop working. But, so, yeah, we took the elevator up into the floor my sister was on. And my mom goes in. I couldn't go in because, keep in mind, I was only 7. So, I mean, I couldn't go in if I wanted to. And then my dad couldn't go in because I could not be left alone out in the hospital wandering around. Because knowing 7-year-old me, that's probably what I would have did. So my dad stays out of the hospital room with me when my mom goes in. This is where shit gets real. Well, my mom eventually comes back out of the room, and my mom's pissed. And she's like, yeah. So, your 15-year-old daughter's having a fucking child. Her words to my dad. And I was like 7-year-old me did not know what to do. And I was, like, stressing out because it's like, she's having a baby? She's having a baby? Like, I was confused, scared, nervous, mad for some reason, and then excited. Like, I don't know what was going on in 7-year-old me's brain. But, and then she's like, yeah, like, they're gonna, like, get her set up with, like, the delivery and everything. They're gonna transport her to, it was either ECMC or some children's hospital because we live, like, an hour from ECMC, but, like, I've been transported there before. So, I mean, it's not uncommon to get transported there. But, yeah, needless to say, they were, like, trying to find, like, somewhere, like, to send my sister so that she could have, like, a safe birth. And I'm sitting here, and I'm panicking because for some reason I think she's gonna die. Well, me and my mom eventually have to leave to take my dad to work. So we take him to work, and then my mom's like, listen, I have to stay at the hospital with Dee. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go stay with your grandfather. And at the time, I was close to my grandparents. I'm not anymore, but as I said, at the time I was. So I was like, all right. So and I'm like, wait, what about school? And she's like, you're not going to school today. And I'm like, yay, no school. So eventually, my mom comes home later that night and tells me that my sister had a safe delivery, except my niece. We didn't even know, as I said, we didn't even know she was really pregnant, and we also really didn't obviously know the gender, but she ended up having a girl, if you cannot tell. But my niece ended up being born, being born with, something wrong with her lungs, so they did have to keep my sister there for a week or so, which, I mean, was no big deal, but, like, I was excited to meet my niece, okay? Like, I was excited. So about a week or so later, my aunt, my mom, and I go take this really long drive all the way to Children's Hospital where my sister was. And we finally get to pick my niece and my sister up. And my sister ended up naming my niece Alacia, but we just call her Lay. So I was super excited. And then the car ride home, it was weird. Like, I wasn't really used to, like, a baby being around me. Like, I really wasn't used to that. But obviously now I'd have to get used to it, considering my sister just had a baby. And my sister obviously still lived at home at the time. As I said, she was only 15. But, it was honestly, like, I was kind of, like, nervous at first because I thought that I'd be kept up all night from the crying. There were some nights like that. Not really too much, though. Like, there would be nights I got to sleep very peacefully, and other nights I didn't. But, you know, obviously a baby's not going to sleep perfectly through a night. That's just not how life works. I mean, personally, one of my nieces did that, but not every child's going to be like that. So, but that being said, I was super happy. Since we obviously didn't know, my mom's friends donated some clothes and stuff, and then we bought, like, more essentials, like food and everything. Well, honestly, the following summer, it was really, really fun, because she would take me and Lay, and we would always go to the park. We would always be out doing something, whether it's hanging out with her friends, taking Lay to the park, going to the store, or just even walking around the mall. Like, we were having, like, a lot of fun. And I missed when my sister lived at home, kind of, not gonna lie. Because it was just, I don't know. Like, back then, that was, like, my only friend, was my sister. But I didn't mind, though, because it's not, like, I don't know. Like, okay, one of my sister's friends had younger siblings, and I'd, like, hang out with them while my sister hung out with her friend. And it was really fun. And then, obviously, the baby would be there with us, etc. Well, the one day, I go to school, as usual, and I get home, and I can tell something's wrong. Well, it turns out my sister ran away with the child. Yeah. So, I started crying, but we had, like, this, like, little, like, computer at the time, and it was more of, like, a family computer, and it was down in the kitchen, so I sat there just watching YouTube to try and distract myself, because I was really upset about it. So were my parents. Turns out she ended up running away to one of her friends who lived, like, a half hour away from us, and my mom knew her friend. We're going to call this friend Maddie. My mom knew Maddie's mom. But Maddie's mom, regardless, still took my sister and the baby in without my mom's permission. So, yeah, my mom was, like, really pissed. And my aunt drove out there multiple times with me and my mom to try and get my niece and my sister back. But yeah, nothing ever came with it. The cops couldn't do anything, and I forgot why they couldn't do anything, but just know that they couldn't. Well, anyways, I forgot how, but she ended up coming home. And everything was fine. Everything pretty much went back to normal, and my niece was around maybe 1 at the time, while I was like 8, going on 9, because I remember when I was 9, the same thing happened again, except this time she went with a different friend who lived almost an hour away from us, and we're going to call this friend Kayla. And we need a little backstory on Kayla for this all to make sense, because Kayla lived in this really big house out in the middle of nowhere. But she was really popular and she threw tons of parties. And it is very important to mention that she had, I kid you not, over 12 fostered siblings and over literally, I kid you not, over 50 animals and every type of animal that was legal to own in our state. I'm not even kidding. And my sister would tell me all the time, because she would go there sometimes to hang out with her, but my sister, like, would tell me all the time, like, yeah, like, there was dead animals all over the place, even on the kitchen table. I kid you not. Even on the kitchen table, there'd be dead birds in their cage. It was disgusting. And my niece was around all that. And we obviously all did not feel comfortable at the thought that my niece was around all that. So, we tried one last time, and because we knew they were going to throw a party one night. My sister's friend Kayla had this barn, because as I said, she had literally every type of animal that's legal to own. And we ended up calling the cops to Kayla's address. Well, yeah, the cops, they ended up, they all hid in the barn when the cops were coming. So, pretty much the cops never ended up being able to do anything. But anyway, fast forward a little bit, and my sister texts my mom, and she's like, why, everyone knows you called the cops, why the hell did you call the cops? Like, really? We called the cops because we want you and Lay home. But anyway. So I am a little sad that they didn't come home. And my sister did not want to come home. She, as I said, she was the one who left. No one forced her to leave. Just figured I'd clear that up. My sister was not kidnapped. Well, anyway, my mom and my aunt somehow remembered about the dead animals. So they called the cops and the news vans there. It was either late at night or very, very early in the morning. But I'm pretty sure it was early in the morning. And I don't even know, when this was. It was somewhere in 2016. That's all I know. So my mom calls the cops there, and the cops get there, and there is a shitload of dead animals everywhere. There's, as I said, on the table, in cages, in the barn. Yeah, it was disgusting. They did not pick up the corpses. They just left them there. I don't know, personally, I cannot deal with that. Because first of all, I just couldn't. Second of all, that's literally disgusting, because you know the smell of rotting animal corpses everywhere is going to stink. It's going to stink very bad. So I just don't know even how my sister put up with that. How she let my niece around that. And how these people even live like that, because that is disgusting. So I was, because low-key dead animals are kind of a sensitive topic for me for many reasons. But, so I was kind of mad at my sister. 9-year-old me was pissed at my sister that she would stay there, knowing that. And I don't even know why I was pissed. It didn't even make any sense at all, looking back. But I guess it's whatever. So anyway, the cops come and they see all the dead animals, and long story short, news fans end up pulling up. Yeah. I was woken up. No, it wasn't early in the morning. It was late at night. I remember. Because I was woken up. And my aunt and my mom had woken me up and they were like, hey, listen, we need to go pick up your sister and your niece. Throw some pajamas on and get in the car. So I throw pajamas on. I don't even remember what pajamas they were, honestly. I just threw random pajamas on. And I got my aunt's car, and we drove all the way, almost an hour away, to go pick up my sister. And let me tell you, I was scared. Because when she was about to get in the car, I had to be in the trunk. Because my aunt's car was not that big. So I had to stay ducked down in the trunk for the whole ride home. I was folded like a little pretzel. I kid you not. But that's beside the point. Because my sister ended up having, she got 2 pet rats from Kayla. And yeah, I was freaked out because their little, like, carrier was right next to me the whole ride. And I was freaked out, like, I was scared they were, like, gonna, like, bite me. My sister didn't have the rats too long, though, because it ended up biting her, and then blood was all over the bathroom. So yeah, she did not have the rats too long. But I was scared, because I saw rats, and I was like, ew. No, please. Please get these things out of my sight. Please get these things away from me. But of course, I had a whole 45 to 55 minute car ride next to these rats. And I was not happy. I was not happy at all. So, we get home. And after that, my sister did not run away. She ended up getting out of her current relationship that she was in at the time with someone new. They're still together all these years later. And they are very happy. They're living on their own. And they're taking very good care of my niece. Anyways, guys, this is the end of today's story time. I know I look crazy right now. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Sorry if I was a little zoned out. My meds do make me zoned out, and I have to take them. So anyway, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the very first episode of my new series. I'll see you guys for this new series again for the very first Sunday of January, I believe. Because I was supposed to post this back in November, but I didn't. Because I had a lot going on. I was too stressed. I had much more to focus on. So anyway, this is the end of today's story time. Leave a like and comment a baby emoji if you guys made it this far. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.